No one in that building knows that the old man on the third floor has been thanking God for a program that does not exist. He has been wrong for 6 years. Walter opens the mailbox at exactly 7:30, same time, every morning. His fingers are slower now, stiffer than last winter. He pulls out one envelope. The red stamp across the front reads, "Paid in full." He turns it over. He turns it over again. Then he folds it once and slides it into his coat pocket. This is the fourth one this year. He does not tell anyone. A man like Walter does not speak about money. He walks upstairs, one hand on the railing, and tells himself it is probably a government program for elderly residents, for men who served and worked and still ended up alone. He has never once applied for such a program. He does not think about that part. The hallway bulb flickers as he passes. Outside, November rain taps the window at the far end of the corridor. His door is number 307. The paint on the number is chipped. He has been meaning to fix it. He has been meaning to fix many things. Inside, he puts the kettle on. One cup, one chair. The small table near the window holds a single photograph. A boy, maybe 9 years old, holding a fish at a lake somewhere green and far away. The boy is laughing. Walter does not look at it for long. He drinks his tea standing up. Next door, Mr. Crane's voice carries through the wall, loud, full, warm. His son visited yesterday, brought groceries, stayed 3 hours. Walter had heard the laughter through the plaster. He turned his television up slightly and said nothing. He does not blame anyone for anything. Then, a knock. Mr. Crane stands in the doorway, still carrying yesterday's happiness on his face. He talks about the groceries, the jacket his son bought, how the boy never forgets. Walter nods. He holds his cup with both hands. "You hear from Owen lately?" Mr. Crane asks. Walter says it has been a while. Mr. Crane nods slowly and leaves. Walter closes the door. He stands with his back flat against it. The tea has gone cold. He does not move to reheat it. He simply stands. He reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out the envelope, paid in full. He folds it one more time, very carefully, and sets it on the table next to the photograph. He does not know yet that someone walks into that utility office every single month, always on the first, always in cash, always quiet, always giving Walter's name, always leaving before anyone can say thank you. He has been wrong for 6 years. And tomorrow, when he goes to the office to report the error, a clerk will look up his account, pause, and say something that makes Walter's hand go completely still on the counter. He has spent 6 years believing the world made a kind mistake, but the mistake was his, thinking no one was watching. And somewhere across this city, a young man closes his banking app in the dark, checks the balance, and says nothing to no one. Tomorrow, Walter will go looking for answers. What he finds will not be what he expected, and it will not leave him the same. The clerk does not look at Walter when she pulls up the account. She looks at the screen, then she looks again. Then she says, "Sir, this account has never been late, not once, in 6 years." Walter asks about the government program. The clerk has no idea what he means. Walter stands very still at that counter. Behind him, a man counts coins into a tray. The fluorescent light above buzzes like something trapped. Walter asks the clerk to check again. She does. Same answer. Paid in cash. Every month, first of the month, same amount. No name on file, just Walter's account number. He walks home in the rain without opening his umbrella. He tells himself it is a bank error. These things happen. Numbers get crossed. Accounts get confused. He is not a man who accepts charity. He has never been that man. So, the only explanation that makes sense, the only one he allows, is that someone, somewhere, made a mistake that accidentally helped him. He can live with that. 3 days pass. Walter visits his doctor, a small appointment he has been delaying for 2 months because of the cost. He pays the copay himself. $12 from his wallet. He feels good about that. Independent. Steady. He walks home with his collar up and his chin slightly higher. He tells Mr. Crane about the program that evening. Mr. Crane laughs, not cruelly, but fully. "Walter," he says, "nobody gets free rent." Walter smiles and closes his door. He believes what he needs to believe. But then, the pipe under the kitchen sink begins to drip. Walter goes downstairs to find Mr. Ruiz. The landlord is in the storage room, moving boxes. Walter mentions the pipe. Ruiz says he will send someone Tuesday. Then, without looking up, still moving boxes, Ruiz says, Tell your son to have a look too, next time he comes by. Walter does not respond immediately. He waits one full breath. Then he says quietly, "My son?" Ruiz stops moving. He straightens. He looks at Walter for the first time. Something crosses his face. The specific expression of a man who has just said the wrong thing. He looks away, clears his throat, says he must have mixed up the tenants. Walter nods slowly. He walks back upstairs. He does not hurry. He holds the railing with both hands. Inside his apartment, he does not turn the light on. He sits in the chair by the window in the gray afternoon and looks at the photograph of the 9-year-old boy at the lake. Owen would be 34 now. Walter cannot remember the last time he heard his voice. The lease renewal sits on the counter, 3 weeks away. He had been calculating, planning, worrying. He does not know it is already handled. He does not know it has always been handled. He only knows that Ruiz looked away, and that a man only looks away when he is hiding something true. He has built 6 years of peace on a story that was never real. The program does not exist. The bank error does not exist. Only one thing exists, and Walter is not ready to name it yet. Tomorrow he moves the old radiator to check the pipe himself, and something falls, and the name on it will break open everything he thought he understood about the last 6 years. He is moving the radiator when it falls. A small folded receipt, thin paper, slightly yellowed at the edges. It must have slipped from someone's pocket months ago and landed behind the metal without a sound. Walter picks it up slowly. He reads the name at the top. Owen, his son's name, his address, the date, 4 months ago. Walter does not move for a long time. He is still crouched on the floor, one hand on the radiator, one hand holding the receipt. The room is completely silent. Outside, a car passes. The sound fades, the silence returns. He stays in it. Then he stands. He walks to his coat. He reaches into the pocket and pulls out the envelope, paid in full, the one from this month. He sets it on the table. Then he opens the kitchen drawer and pulls out the others he kept, telling himself he would sort them out eventually. One by one, he places them on the table in a line. 6 years, 72 months. 72 times someone walked into an office and said his father's name out loud so that his father could sleep at night. Walter sits down in front of them. He does not cry immediately. He sits with both palms flat on the table and looks at what his son built in silence, what his son carried without ever asking to be seen. His hands begin to shake, not from age but from something older than age, something that has no clean name. He picks up his phone. He dials. It rings twice. Owen answers. Walter says nothing for a moment. Then he says only, "I found the receipt." The silence on the other end is long. Then Owen's voice comes, steady, careful, the voice of a man who has rehearsed this conversation many times and still does not know how to begin it. Walter closes his eyes. He listens. He does not interrupt. He does not explain or defend. He simply holds the phone and breathes. Owen comes that evening. He sits across from Walter at the small table. The envelopes are still lined up between them. Walter looks at his son's hands, worn at the knuckles, slightly dry. The hands of a man who has been working hard for a very long time. He had not noticed how his son's hands had changed. He had not been close enough to notice. Walter picks up the full stack of envelopes. He holds them against his chest, not as paper, not as proof, as something he will not put down again. Owen watches him, says nothing. That is enough. The photograph of the 9-year-old boy still sits on the table. The boy is still laughing at the lake, but tonight, for the first time in years, Walter looks at it and does not look away quickly. He looks at it for a long time. Then he looks at his son. Some people do not say "I love you." They pay the bill. They show up in silence. They carry you, without ever once asking you to know.